Birmingham City actually the real deal. 3 wins in a row now in all competitions, unbeaten still in the season and putting in some very good performances week in, week out to start off the season. And the positive momentum just continues at Birmingham City. 27 home matches now unbeaten, and they are looking like St Andrews is going to be a fortress yet again this season. If you're a Birmingham City fan, then do hit subscribe on this channel because we do daily championship content and we talk about Birmingham City a lot on this page as well. And drop a like as well if you do go on to enjoy the video, and let's jump straight into things. I want to start off just by talking about the kind of league table situation at the moment in the championship, because we've had some teams that have started really well, but then of course we have the early favourites where, for example, Ipswich. A lot of people said that Ipswich will finish top of the league. They'll get 100 points. They'll completely walk the league, which was a very common opinion. And this is what I mean now. The championship could be really open this season in terms of the battle for promotion. Could be very interesting if these teams are going to falter. Of course, it's only 3 matches in. You can't judge too heavily on these teams. But performance-wise, Ipswich I've been very disappointed with. Of course, in that game against Birmingham City, where we want to talk about Birmingham City's kind of the one criticism I've kind of got of Birmingham City right now, where you'd have to say Ipswich were fortunate to get the point in that game. They got a lucky penalty at the end. And on another day, Birmingham City walk away with all 3 points, and Ipswich are out having an even bigger disaster start than what they've already had. A game against Southampton, which is probably a fair reflection of draw, in my opinion, in that game. And then a 1-0 loss to Preston, where, again, they didn't really create many chances at all. They looked pretty toothless in attack. And it's 3 matches now where they haven't been able to get a win. And as I say, it's only 3 matches. You can't panic too much if you are an Ipswich fan, but from looking at it from a Birmingham perspective, you know, you've got teams there that are predicted to be right up there faltering, and you think if they can continue to falter, Birmingham can continue getting positive results, the gap could get even bigger, and then you're talking about a real opportunity for a different team getting automatically promoted. Most people, of course, said Ipswich will be in them, be in that top 2 at a minimum, and then you've also got Southampton as well, who did also lose today as well, just showing that these relegated teams in the Premier League, they're just not having it all their own way in the Championship, which makes, as a neutral in the Championship and a Championship fan, the division's so exciting because we don't want teams running away with it. We want it to be an open battle for promotion, relegation, playoffs. We want it to be as competitive as possible. And the way that these relegated teams from the Premier League have come down and played in the Championship so far, it's very promising signs. And Stoke, by the way, have started the season fantastically well. Don't want to take anything away from Stoke, but they had 10 men for a third of the game. Southampton really should be getting a result in that game. And again, Southampton have faltered to results. They got 2 90-minute goals against Wrexham, a draw against Ipswich, of course, when they played each other, the two favourites, and then Stoke City, and then they've gone and lost to them at home as well. So I'll say it's going to be very interesting. Then you've got Leicester City as well, who, yes, they won against Charlton today, but Charlton, if you watch the game, were by far the better side, in my opinion. They created a lot of chances, and on another day, Charlton walk away with the result. The man of the match in that game was the Leicester City goalkeeper, and Fatawu, who scored the goal, I don't know if he'll still be at Leicester come the end of the transfer window, but then you think if they do lose a player like Fatawu, if he does go, that's another dagger to Leicester. And by the way, what's going on with this Leicester points deduction? Like, are they ever going to get it? Are we ever going to see them on minus points, or are they just going to, you know, keep just rolling through on the normal amount of points? Because if they aren't going to get the deduction, Leicester are going to be absolutely up there because they've got them quality of players. And as I say, if Fatawu stays, Leicester are an absolute real problem to the Championship in terms of going forward, because this guy can literally pull some out of the bag, pull some out of nothing, like he did against Charlton. But as I say, all these teams faltering, and Birmingham City starting the season the way that they have, it's definitely it comes into that momentum that Birmingham City have got compared to some of these teams that, of course, got relegated from the Premier League. Birmingham City have a different kind of momentum. And a 1-0 win against Oxford, of course, it was a win it's a game that you expected Birmingham City to win. There's no doubt about it. When I said before, Birmingham City unbeaten in 27 home matches, and you would expect a team like Oxford to struggle against Birmingham City, of course, at St Andrews, at their stadium. And Oxford, by the way, you know, 0 points, and they have struggled in performances, haven't been great so far, and Birmingham were well in control of this game. But as I say, we can go back to that main criticism, and the one criticism that I have got of Birmingham City so far this season, and it's the not being able to take the chances when they get the opportunities. You look at the amount of shots Birmingham had there, 16, I think. Here, Kyogo, that was probably the one where he put it wide. Yeah, it was. I think that was the one where Kyogo put wide. He had a fantastic chance, Kyogo did. And I think the main criticism is the not being able to take the chance, because you never know. On another day, obviously, Birmingham City were very much in control of that game. But on another day, Oxford could walk away with it and get themselves a late goal the same way Ipswich did get that penalty. You never know what can happen in the Championship, and it is a ruthless division. If you don't put away your chances at points in the season, you are quite simply going to get punished. Of course, they've got the 3 points and they absolutely deserve it. But Kyogo has had 2 good chances in that game again. Now, you can say that it's a real big positive that Birmingham are creating chances for Kyogo. It was a really nice ball from Williamson for that chance that he had. The first Kyogo chance that he had, a really nice ball through. And a confident Kyogo scores that as well. He's obviously struggled in the last few months. He's been at Rennes, where it hasn't quite worked out. His goal return hasn't been great. His confidence is clearly quite low. Obviously, got himself that goal for Birmingham, which is a positive, but he still seems like he's a little bit low in confidence in terms of his confidence in front of goal. But the positive is he's making them runs in behind. He's still getting opportunities. Birmingham are creating chances for him, which is something that is good, because, as I say, if he can get his confidence back and maybe finish one of them chances, then people aren't complaining at him, and you're looking at a striker that can score a lot of goals over the course of the season. And if they keep creating the way that he is, Kyogo is going to eventually take these chances and score, because we've seen how good this guy's been at Celtic. So it's about keeping the faith in him. And as I say, it's better him getting the chances and missing them than not getting the chances at all. And Oxford didn't really create much throughout the game. They had a couple of chances. They had one towards the end, and as well as that, they had a long shot from Brannigan, I think it was, that was saved by Osman. They maybe could have got to the rebound. But overall, Birmingham were pretty untroubled in terms of defensively. And again, it's such a positive with Birmingham City defensively, the defensive record that they've got so far, and the personnel they've got in defence, because they had the injury to the left back, and Ethan Laird comes straight in at left back in not even his natural position, and puts in an excellent performance, pulls back a really nice ball to Peku, who puts the ball into the back of the net, and a fantastic goal, and a very much deserved goal at the time for Birmingham City that was coming all the way throughout the match. The fullbacks bombing on. Of course, they do kind of need maybe a left-sided centre-back / left-back, more of a left-back probably they do need in terms of cover, because you look at the amount of depth that this team has got, it's a real good amount of depth, but I think left-back's maybe an area. But then Ethan Laird slotting in at left-back was probably the best player on the pitch. I mean, Tottenham gave him man of the match. There was numerous performances that were very, very impressive. Obviously, Peake in the midfield you can single out. The Demarai Gray as well, fantastic, really showing his quality yet again. Clara at the back as well, and Newman as well. I mean, all of them just defensively, they were so untroubled. And as I say, it is only Oxford in terms of the fact that we are predicting Oxford to be down there come the end of the season. But you have to say, it was another very impressive performance and another dominant performance. The only criticism you can really have is that the game should have been more than 1-0, which, as I say, in future games, you never know against better opposition, or on another day, you can easily get punished later on in the game, and then you're kicking yourself for missing them good chances that you had earlier on in the match. And as I say, you're looking at teams that have performed so far in the Championship, and Birmingham City, in terms of performances, are absolutely right up there, and Stoke have been really impressive. All these teams at the top, you've got to think some of them will drop away, and I don't think Birmingham City will be one of those teams that will drop away. But by the way, next game is going to be a serious test. If you're talking about real opportunities and real statements to make, this is absolutely it. Birmingham's next 2 games now, Stoke, and then before that, Leicester on the Friday night. If they go and get a result at Leicester and go and put in another positive performance, that's like confirming to everybody again in front of the Sky Sports cameras that they're not here to mess about in the slides. Because you look at all the performances, the worst one was against Blackburn, but every performance has kind of had a little bit of something different. And every performance, by the way, as well, has been Birmingham solid in defence in every single match and not really conceding many chances at all, which is the biggest positive you can get. If you're going to remain solid, especially if you can go to Leicester and remain solid at the back, keep players like Fatawu quiet, you're always giving yourselves an opportunity, and they have the chance creation, the players there to create chances for players like Kyogo that can put them away. And the worst performance was the one against Blackburn, but they showed that grit and determination to battle through and get 2 90-minute goals and win the match. So they've got a very tough test up next, and they've got a very tough next 2 games. And as I say, if you get results in them 2 games, if you get a result against Leicester, you're really looking at it like you're making a statement to the division, because, as I say, the teams that are expected to be up there right now are just quite simply not performing. As I say, it's 3 matches. You can't be writing these teams off just yet because it's just 3 games, as I say. But performance-wise, I've been very disappointed with these relegated sides, and their fan bases aren't happy at all. And you just look at the energy and the vibe around Birmingham City right now compared to a lot of these other teams, and I really think they can be up there come the end of the season when squad depth comes into it as well later in the season, when teams get injuries. I really think Birmingham will be the team that can stay up there and really battle for that automatic promotion place. So let me know what you think of the game. Of course, I only watched the highlights. From what I've seen, though, it seemed to be a very much dominant display from Birmingham. And as I say, on another day, they could have walked away with a much bigger margin win. And the criticism is that they just quite simply haven't taken enough of their chance over the course of the season. 4 goals, it should be a lot more than 4 goals with what they've created. But the signs are there if Kyogo can get his confidence. And as for Oxford United, it's been a difficult start to the season. Going and losing that game to Hull was in such difficult circumstance, with Ollie McBurney literally scoring right at the end of the game. It's been a very difficult start for Oxford. And you do kind of fear the worst. I think in this game against Birmingham, they kind of had a free pass in terms of they weren't really expected to get anything out of the game at all. But they've had 2 games prior to this against Hull City, who are expected to be down there come the end of the season, and a home game against Portsmouth to kick off the season. It's 2 disappointing results. As I say, a bit of a free hit in this game against Birmingham, given the situation that Birmingham City are in right now with how positive it is there and the record that they've got at St Andrews. Then, of course, for Oxford, it was always going to be difficult, and it was a case of don't get absolutely battered, don't embarrass yourselves, and I guess go again in the future games. Because as I say, they didn't get absolutely battered in the end in terms of the scoreline. Performance-wise, they were by far second best, but that was very much to be expected. And at least they didn't get battered like my boys QPR and lose 7-1. You know what I mean? They didn't let the floodgates open. And that's what kind of Gary Rowett does. He keeps teams solid at the back. And on another day, they definitely could have conceded more. But as I say, they'll take the positives from that game. They stayed in the game. And they've got Coventry up next, and see if Coventry can put 7 past them. Hopefully they can, to make it a little bit less embarrassing for us. But as I say, Oxford, they are down there right now, second bottom in the table. Still yet to pick up a point, just them and Sheffield United. Yet to pick up a point this season in the Championship. And they'll be needing to get off the mark pretty quickly, because they've had a few injury problems Oxford have to start the season. And as well as that, it's been difficult in terms of the transfer window for them as well. They haven't exactly had the easiest time of it. So not ideal start for Oxford. Fantastic start for Birmingham. 7 points from the opening 3 matches. Could have been very easily been 9 for Birmingham, but they'll take the 7 points. And as I say, with a few of the future games coming in, the way that other teams have performed who are meant to be up there come the end of the season, and they'll very much take the start. And as I say, they are, in my opinion, going to be right up there come the end of the season. And Birmingham City are very close to the real deal already. And as I say, the transfer window's not even done yet. Get a couple more signings in, and it's looking very, very positive over there. And as I say, for Oxford, 3 matches in, but it's not been the greatest of starts at all for them. So anyway, let me know what you think of the video. If you're a Birmingham City fan, hit subscribe. If you're an Oxford United fan, hit subscribe as well. It'd be very greatly appreciated. If you've watched this point, you may as well hit that subscribe button. It only takes 1 second. Drop a like as well if you did enjoy the video. It'd be very greatly appreciated. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.